What is up, everyone? It is Joe, aka the DeFi Crypto King, or DCK for short. And today I'm going to be going over Gen Zero Heroes, specifically how to qualify for a raffle ticket to win them for free off of Crystalvale and DeFi Kingdoms. And I'm also going to be going over a little bit of details that was recently mentioned on the AMA for DeFi Kingdoms via the Discord. So let's get into that. All right. Actually, before we get into this, I kind of wanted to show my YouTube channel. If you aren't already, please subscribe. We just hit 50 subscribers, so pretty awesome. And I am pretty new to posting videos and stuff on here, but I'm going to be trying to get more frequent with my uploads, with creating content. Right now, I mostly focused on Solidly, which I'm not really focused on that as much anymore, but predominantly DeFi Kingdoms and a little bit of DeFi. But I'm going to be doing other projects as well that I'm interested in, that I've discovered, as well as a wide variety of topics that are both beginner, intermediate, and advanced friendly. So with that being said, let's get into it. First things first, I kind of wanted to show you guys this. I actually didn't do too great of a job of pulling this up. Oh, yes, I did actually. So first things first, I wanted to go on DeFi Llama before we get into the nitty gritty. And essentially, what you can do on DeFi Llama here is you can view the total value locked in US dollars on each ecosystem or all the blockchains as a whole. So total value locked in all the blockchain is $227 billion. And what that essentially means, if you don't know, it's how much money is actually like locked on the platform or staked on the platform or are in LP liquidity provider farms or sorry, pools. So that's something to keep in mind. Anyways, I go over here, click Harmony. This is a really great tool to use, by the way. As we can see, this is Harmony 1 chain. So the total TVL of this chain is 789 million. And the protocol with the most dominance is DeFi Kingdoms. This is actually pretty crazy. Before Crystalvale launched, this was more like 53 to 58%. Now it's 38%. But something to keep in mind too is it's still number one. With Tranquil coming up pretty close second, of course. But they have 306 million TVL in the Serendale side of DeFi Kingdoms, which is pretty amazing. But right here, this is an older article, so a few days old. So things could have increased exponentially since then, or even potentially a little bit decreased. I don't know. But this is really cool because you kind of get to see that the total value lock, the TVL of Crystal or on Crystalvale is 411 million. So let's just say like, maybe it's 400 million now or 375, but it's still way more above Serendale. So that's pretty cool to see. And then number of transactions on DFK chain is 262,000. And then total bridge volume is 367 million with 21,796 users based on the number of unique wallets. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's pretty cool. That being said, there's a few details I need to share with you guys in this video. Number one is going over Genesis. Here, let me stop sharing my screen real quick. Number one is going over Genesis Heroes, which is going to be really important, specifically because if you're familiar with DeFi Kingdoms, Serendale land, they had Gen Zero Heroes, and they are very, very valuable. Whether you decide to hold them and actually use them within the playing or the game side of things on DeFi Kingdoms, or if you decide to resell them, if that's your choice. Would not recommend that if you got it for free. Let alone if you got it for a steal of a price, but to each their own. That being said, there is some information that I'm going to share on that. And then at the end, I'm actually going to share a mistake I recently made on Crystalvale, which I hope I can help others avoid. So let's get back to it. Okay, so this is super cool. They're talking about the new gardens. Again, this is April 2nd that this was released. They're talking about the new gardens, basically all of the new LP pools, which I'll pop up that later, that are available now. And then they go into the airdrops, right? So they talked about airdrops since they had a delayed launch or a delayed emissions because people weren't able to get through because there was bridging and issues with Crystalvale's launch. It's pretty common within a project. And I think overall, from my experience, the DeFi Kingdoms team handled it pretty well, all considered. Anyway, so that's available. I'll talk about that briefly closer to the end. So you can claim that if you qualify for an airdrop or snapshot. And then there's the new X Crystal snapshot period. Okay, this is super huge. So as you can see here, as Dreamer is one of the members on the team. I forget if Dreamer's a developer or something, or just community. So they play it. They're on the team of DeFi Kingdoms. Let's just say that. Mentioned last night, we got our first X Crystal snapshot coming up soon, and it's for our biggest raffle we've ever done. 100 Gen 0 heroes are going to be won in this raffle. Okay. This is in line with our strategy of giving Gen 0s out to the community via exclusive airdrops and prizes. In other words, we are not doing a Gen 0 sale like we did last time. So these snapshots will be your best chance to pick some up. This is something to keep a note of. In Serendale, they did some raffles, but they also did, a Gen 0 sale. So just keep that in mind, all right? This airdrop event represents our efforts to make the community the primary stakeholders in the launch of this new token being Crystal. And it says we allocated almost the entire pre-mint towards it, the rest only being used to seed some small initial liquidity to ensure favorable slippage for our new inflow of users. And then they kind of go into a few other details. Where is it? Did I lose it? Here it is. So this is how it's going to work. So they're going to be running a snapshot based on how much crystal a wallet has staked in the Crystalvale jeweler. Again, the jeweler on Crystalvale. So it starts today, April 4th, and it's going on for 3 weeks. So the snapshot's going to be taken for the next 3 weeks, ending on 11:59 Eastern time on April 25th. So April 4th to April 25th, people are going to be wanting to have crystal locked, or not locked, but staked in the jeweler on Crystalvale. Each wallet can only win once, and the entry calculation will be an average over the time period. So the longer, look at this is important. So the longer you stake during that period, all else equal, the higher your chances will be. So basically, the longer you stake in the jeweler, the higher chances are going to be. And I'll keep reading. How will it work? For each 10x crystal, you will earn 1 ticket for the raffle. Okay, remember, for each 10 crystal that you have staked, so X crystal is staked crystal from the jeweler. So each 10x crystal, but it has to be X crystal, it can't just be 10 crystal, will earn 1 ticket for the raffle. There will be a multiple applied for milestones, adding a 0.1x to each 100x crystal. So at 100x crystal, tickets awarded would be 10 times 1.1 or 11 tickets. Pretty freaking awesome. I like this. If you watched my previous video on DeFi, you saw that I was probably pretty upset about their Gen 0 Genesis Hero or Gen 0 Hero mint qualifications and whatnot. I don't like it. This, in my opinion, is how they should have done it, but to each their own. And then it says 200x crystal gets 24 rickets, or I think they meant raffles. That's weird. Or I guess raffle tickets. That's why they're calling it rickets. And then 300x crystal gets 39 tickets, and so on. We are not holding back on this giveaway. We will have 100 Gen 0 heroes as rewards for this special snapshot raffle. This is pretty cool. I like this a lot. Specifically, here, let me, I like this a lot. I think this is really fair. And actually, I'm curious, what's the current price? I guess I should go on with that too. So currently, as we can see, we're seeing a dip here, which makes sense. I'll talk about the price in a second here, but at $28.26, so times 10, I think that's like what, $200 or $280. So that's pretty cheap, honestly, in comparison to the $1,600, $1,600 you had to do on DeFi. So this is very fair, in my opinion, and it is a raffle. So yes, obviously, the more crystal you have locked, the more raffles you get, but it's not rewarding people who only have the most. Like, you still have a chance, even if you only invested $280 into 10x crystal or into 10x crystal. Yeah. So just something to keep in mind. And again, I'm very, very happy with how they're doing this. Some more information I want to get into regarding heroes. So this is by Sandwich Punch, and this is on the team AMA. I can't talk today, for DeFi Kingdoms. So this is April 4th, 2022. So this is literally today. All right. First things first. We're talking about this. We aren't doing a Gen 0 hero sale like we saw in the Discord. Instead, we are trying to reward people that are participating in the game and in our network. Notice the same language we saw in DeFi, right? We're seeing this also being said in DeFi Kingdoms. However, as we just saw previously in Discord, different execution. So I think it's going to react in different results. Anyways, our team isn't receiving any, I think they meant to say any, but they said and. Our team isn't receiving any Gen Zeros just because they built it. Love that. Always love that. We have to go and stake and see if we get lucky in the raffle. So I like that they say this. So they even say that they would have to get lucky in the raffle. So this shows me that it's completely unbiased. Whether you're a whale, whether you're someone with very little bit of money, you know, you have an opportunity here. And then it says, we are putting ourselves in the same boat and the same page as everyone else. We didn't get any of the pre-mint of crystal either. So the only way for us to get X crystal was to send our heroes on perilous journey. That's what PJ stands for, or do any of the things that the rest of the community had to do. And look what it says. I'm really proud of how we are doing this compared to other projects. I think they're throwing shade at DeFi, in my opinion. I like to read between the lines, and I'm pretty good at it if I do say so myself. But yeah, when they say other projects, there isn't many projects that are doing the exact same thing as them. So I think it's safe to say they're referring to DeFi. The community has been so supportive. We are proud. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We're going to skip that because I don't want to take too much time here. It says starting today, this is by Dreamer again, one of the team members of DFK. Starting today, there is a 3-week snapshot period for hundreds and zeros. Really exciting. And then it says we aren't doing an initial sale at a fixed price, keyword fixed price. We are trying to give back to the community in as many ways as we can. This kind of caps off the beginning of the new land. Where did the majority of the crystals come from? Participation by the community and airdrops they received for that. And then the current structure of airdrops, to my knowledge, is crystal, 1/2 crystal unlocked, and then half of it vesting over a week. It's been interesting to see the stability of the price. And then it says, I'm happy with the maturity of the community. I want to apply the community for looking out for the stability as we have this price discovery. I agree with this. Actually, this has been pretty cool. Or, oops, I'm going to highlight this. This has been pretty cool overall. So the stability. Another thing, this is important. Another thing is that you can get Gen Zeros through leaderboards. One of the rewards for some of those leaderboards are Gen Zeros. This rewards people that play the game. I wanted to mention this, even though most people who are watching this are going to be more DeFi, more investor side of things, maybe not so much the gaming side of things. But if you are someone who plays the game and you make it to the leaderboards, if you're one of those lucky few, you can qualify as well to get a Gen Zero. Okay. This is also something too that I wanted to mention. So it's kind of getting less away from, or more away from the Gen Zero hero minting and more into like more specific details. But before I get into this next section, I kind of wanted to talk about something, and that's that these heroes and stuff are really, really valuable. And in my opinion, you want to maximize every single opportunity you can to snag one of these, especially if you really, really want to invest in this project. And I mean more so than just getting the tokens, holding it, or participating in the LP pools. And there's a reason for that. Actually, I would argue and say that even if you are doing that, you want to do this. You don't have to get a Gen Zero hero though, but it does help. In terms of value and being able to make money. But I'm actually going to show you guys why I think a Gen Zero is so valuable. So let's see here. Actually, let's go to the docs here. Let's travel to Serendale. Okay, there's something I want to show you guys here on Serendale that is very, very important. Let's go to world map. Close this. Okay, so check this out. So this is Serendale. We all know, we all love. This is where you got your start in DeFi Kingdoms if you're one of those lucky few. This is the tavern. At the tavern, they have this option called list hero for hire. Okay, this is pretty cool. Now, if you're someone who's financially motivated or looking to make passive income, this is one of the many ways, or one of the few ways I should say, maybe not many is not the best term, one of the few ways that you can earn money from owning a hero. I'm not gonna, obviously, I don't have any heroes on Serendale, if I'm being honest. I didn't buy one because I've been holding out for Crystalvale. But one thing you'll notice is that heroes have a summoning bar, right? This one has 0 of 0. And the thing that you need to know about a summoning bar, without getting too technical into things, is most heroes that aren't Gen 0s have a certain limit to how many summons they can do, right? And in this game, summoning is currency because you're being able to summon new heroes that have fixed or like specific stats in order to create other heroes. Again, I'm not going to get too much into it, but there's a reason why this is valuable. So a lot of times, instead of someone buying a hero, what they'll do is they'll actually rent it for the purpose of summoning. So right now, aside from me owning this hero for 32 Jewel, which Jewel's at, $9, so that's probably close to almost $320. I'm not going to say it is, but let's just say that Jewel's $10. That's $320 right here. So with that being said, like this could have been more valuable to me if it actually had summons left, which again, this one doesn't. Let's actually go to, let's see, summons remaining. Let's go to 9 and 10. Apply that. So I'll show you this. So this one has a 9 out of 9. Its current price is 35 Jewel. And yeah, so you can basically do one of two things. If you're someone like me who doesn't care for minting new heroes, you can rent this sucker out. And, basically each time you rent it out, people are going to be paying you a certain number of Jewel in Serendale's case, and you're making passive income. You do have to, and it's not like fully passive, like you do have to check on it because after someone uses it, it does get sent back to you essentially because they're only borrowing it. They don't actually own it. And then you have to here, let me exit this. You have to go back to here, list hero for hire, and relist it again for whatever price you determine. But this is super cool because Gen 0 heroes, let's see if I can pull it up. Gen 0 heroes have unlimited, right? Now, although they have unlimited, that means that like they never run out, but they are limited to how many summons they can do in a single like time frame, okay? So like you'll see it says 34 out of unlimited, right? But the bar is always full. So, because again, there's cooldown periods. That's what I mean by like you're limited to how much you can do per time frame. And they do this obviously because they don't want to like, mess up the system in favor of like, you have this infinite money glitch essentially with heroes. But look at this, 2,500 Jewel. So if we're saying, yeah, I'm just going to go to CoinGecko just so you guys could kind of see like this US dollars. And I'm not just talking on my butt because I'm not the best at math in terms of doing it in my head. I definitely am more of a numbers guy, but anyways. So 2,500 Jewel, that's roughly $22.9 thousand. So $22,000 is the cheapest, I believe, price is sending. Oops. Oh yeah. So this is the cheapest one. Cheapest Gen 0 hero on Serendale. Okay. So again, you can list this for hire by going here. And let's just say I have a Gen 0. and I don't care for minting other heroes, even though that could also be a way, like you can mint heroes and then sell them if you wanted to. That's an option as well, but I don't recommend doing that. It seems like it's just a waste of time and it can be hit or miss. But long story short, that's some pretty good money already just in value, but then you could also make money on top of your hero. Now, something to keep a note is if you are planning on actually playing the game and stuff, the more you summon, if you do end up getting into summoning, the more it costs to summon. So there is an associated cost with it, but that doesn't really matter if you're just trying to make the financial side of things and just rent them out. So I just wanted to make that apparent. That is a strategy that some people utilize. Although people who play the game are always like against that strategy. Oh, look, that's cool. You can see this one went to Perilous Journey. And it made it back. So it has that little stamp right there. But anyways, I wanted to showcase that because this is going to, like, I want you guys to kind of get an idea. So if on Serendale, it's $22,000 to almost $23,000 for a hero. On Crystalvale, I think it's safe to say it's going to be that, if not a little bit more. Just because Crystalvale, in my opinion, is going to be the most coveted version of DeFi Kingdoms that people are going to be engaging on and playing on primarily. Something else to know: why else am I saying that Gen 0 heroes are valuable? Even if you're not trying to play the game. So I'm going to use this as an example. This is one of my accounts. As you can see here, I have 15.43 locked Jewel. And as of right now, I have no way of getting that except for waiting, a full year. Because, when you withdraw, it adds to that pool of locked Jewel. Whoops, I went to the wrong section. This is acting up today. Okay, so if you go to professions, wow, it's glitching hardcore. Hold on real quick, guys. Technical difficulties here. Okay, cool, it's working now. So there's this thing called the miner, right? And what essentially you can do on the miner, you can mine for your, I think it's the miner. Yeah, it's the miner. So essentially what you can do is like you can mine for your locked Jewel, in Serendale. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. In Serendale, right? So in my opinion, based on everything I've been reading, based on the heroes that are going to be launched, based on the Discord conversations I've had with other people, it's pretty safe to say that there's going to be a similar mechanism in place for those who are those who have a bunch of locked crystal as well. And I don't know where this section is going to be. It'll probably be like somewhere around here. If I'm jumping to an assumption here, it could not be. I have no idea, or it could be like right here. I don't know. But essentially, this is pretty cool. I actually haven't really looked at this in a while. Anyways, it's going to be somewhere on here, essentially, where you're going to have like similar professions area. And that's going to be where like you can mine for any of your locked crystal. And that's going to be really key too, especially if you did what I did. But before I talk about that, let's get into this. So this is some information in case you didn't know. So this part has been confirmed, even though this is being asked by one of the users on the AMA. It says 2 new basic classes will be added and be part of the larger class tree. It's talking about for the heroes. Currently in CV, we'll get 2 new basic classes and 1 new advanced class. I'm just reminding you guys of that in case you didn't know. And then here goes Frisky Fox, again, one of the team members of DeFi Kingdoms, and he says, we are essentially launching a new quarter of the other half of the genes because half were released on Serendale. So the other half is going to be released now in Crystalvale from the sounds of things. And they also said that like they haven't settled 100% on where they're going with it, but he says, I can say we are spending a lot of time thinking about this and we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow. So basically they're going to meet about it. It's kind of undecided, or they're at least not prepared to communicate it with the community for whatever reason. Another thing you'll see here that I highlighted, and I'm going over this briefly, is you'll see efforts on expanding things on CV, the DEX, and the game, but also new things on Serendale. So all the new gameplay features will hit Serendale first, as always, and then eventually make their way over into Crystalvale. So the thing about Serendale is essentially the test net. And if we're going to DeFiKingdoms.com real quick, go to the docs, and then go to the roadmap. Here it is. You can kind of see that obviously because Serendale came out first, it's much further along. So it's gardening and mining quest. Again, it's already been accomplished. I think in order to participate in this, you have to go on the beta version of DeFi Kingdoms for whatever reason. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, Alchemist, and right now this is where they last updated it, and they're currently working on this, the pets. Meanwhile, we are literally right here, just in Crystalvale launch. And we might actually be right here, banks, gardens, and marketplace. I think that's where we're at. So, or we could even be in the docs. I don't know for a fact because they haven't updated this, but I'm pretty sure like we're, at least one of these three. We're definitely not here yet because it isn't available. And yeah, none of this other stuff has happened, but basically what they're taking from a developer's perspective, it's easier to just copy and paste, right? And so that's kind of what they're doing for the most part. And it's easier to duplicate systems that currently work. And because they have, DeFi Kingdoms on Serendale, they're going to be duplicating that over to Crystalvale. And in my opinion, Crystalvale is going to be a lot more successful in the long run than Serendale is, just because of the, subnets that they have developed. It being on Avalanche subnet, which is a mini blockchain, and not having to be associated with Harmony anymore, and bringing more utility to their Jewel token. But that's another conversation. So anyways, like I was saying, Serendale is the test net, which again, it's still great land, and you can still make a lot of money and invest into this, and you'll probably do pretty well. But I think for me right now, the main focus is Crystalvale, as for a lot of other DeFi Kingdoms users and investors and players. So anyways, it says, we are looking for ways for you to go out and explore the different regions with your heroes, as well as lands and the content that you'll actually be able to do out on the map. A lot of that is being worked on right now, and then figured out how it can be carried over to CV as well, so Crystalvale as well. So what he's essentially talking about is like, they are working on, this stuff right here. So not the equipment, but he's talking about the player versus environment features. And then, that's probably going to embed eventually the player versus player features as well. But what they're essentially trying to do is expand their map overall, and bring more usability or more game-like features to it. Okay, especially if you have a hero. Okay, let's scroll down. Oh, this is cool too. So this is a teaser for an upcoming zone in Crystalvale. I'll just look at it briefly. Pretty cool. And then it says, we have 5 zones, and it will be built up so that it has the same functionality as Serendale, particularly with Gen Zeros and needing a meditation circle. So this is probably what that is. Summoning portal and tavern. This one actually is, these teasers are the portal that we are working on. So this would be the portal where you summon a hero from. That's where these graphics are coming from. Makes sense. And then it says, can't get on AMA without talking about combats. This is super cool because this is talking about the PvP features, or PvE features for that matter. And it says, so many different departments are working together to make one cohesive and fun experience. Mechanics department coming up with balancing and cool ideas on how this will work. Lore working on how the enemies will have a home in the world. And then creative and art on and how heroes are being conveyed in combat. Also have a teaser. Bam, this is the combat. It's going to be probably like turn-based, which makes sense. This is a browser-based game. You don't want to get too crazy with it. And then it says, we are in phase 1. So it says right here, of Crystalvale. Plans to expand the map to different areas, and we were shared some images. I guess it's, actually this is talking about what was mentioned in Barcelona for their Barcelona developers, or DeFi Kingdoms Barcelona event. And then it says, one of the cool things we are trying to do with pets, and so they're kind of going to pets here, is enhance world building by connecting pets to future things. So essentially, I'm just going to briefly cover this. There's going to be eggs and stuff like that that you can hatch in the hatchery. And you can have pets that are connected to future things like enemies and heroes and whatnot. So this is just a preview. Take it with a grain of salt. This is early stage development. So, but it's pretty cool to see. That being said, I'm going to get over to this real quick, something to keep note. So I've talked about this before, and I've called this top pretty much. If you are part of the Logical Crypto group on Telegram, you know that I've kind of called this. I said, this is a psychological level, 200%. That's a 3x. Also, by that point in time, people are going to want to take profits. So we're kind of seeing like a little bit of stability here, but in my opinion, so it did a 200. Look, this is literally the same. It's the same thing. So it's doing this, and then it's doing this, right? So it's probably going to do the same thing. It did this. Now it's doing this. It's probably going to do the same thing, So that's something to keep in mind. Like this is a similar pattern, and even if you look at it, obviously there's a little bit more dip here, or it started off a little bit lower here than it is here, which that's always good from a long-term perspective. It's a higher low, oh frick, excuse me. It's a higher low and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, so just looking at this price action right here, so this did a 211% before it started to dip, 46%. So right now this one did a 205% since Crystalvale's launch. So let's see if it dipped 46%. If I'm not saying it will for a fact get to this low, but that would be roughly, let's see, let's set this price target of $6.26 a joule before we probably see, it moon again, or I'm calling it moon, but pump. So that's something to potentially look out for. I will be paying close attention to this over the next, I'll do this later, over the next few days. Because also something to keep a note too. I'm not saying this is like accurate 100%, but it took 15 days to hit its all-time low in this dump right here. And when I say all-time low, it's like the bottom of this wick over here on December 6th. So again, I'm not saying for a fact it's going to play out the exact same, but let's see, all-time high. 15 days would be somewhere closer to April 15th. So keep an eye on that. Although I will say, I would pay more attention to, where is it? April 24th. That might be potentially a day for some dumping to occur. Potentially not. This is Jewel. This isn't Crystal. April 24th will probably be more here, but we'll get into that in a sec. But yeah, I mean, here, let me do it again. Sec. I'm actually going to put a line here just for my sake, just to have as a reminder. We'll check up on that pretty frequently here. But yeah, I mean, I do expect there to be some price action here, basically. And I'm going to put this in purple because I want to buy this at this point. If you can get in at this number, that's great. But anyways, if you haven't taken profits already, I'm not saying to like liquidate your full bag. Don't ever do that, or maybe not don't ever do that, but I wouldn't do that in this case. But I would for sure look at probably like taking profits or de-risking if you haven't already. And of course, you have to be within like a certain range that makes sense. Like if you got a 2x from this, so let's see, what would a 2x be? Oops, what would a 2x be? So let's say you bought in at 481, a 2x would be, $9.83. That's something to keep in mind. Anyways, just something to keep in mind. And I do think it's going to continue doing this. Again, this is like a very specific situation why this happened. But also the market as a whole wasn't doing great. The market's doing pretty decent right now. And then I kind of wanted to touch this real quick too. So kind of similar thing, like if you can see, let me remove the volume, it's kind of getting in the way. So you can see like from the bottom of the wick to the top of the wick. That's 217%. And now what are we seeing? We're seeing a bit of dip here. So actually, it hit a 44% dip, which if we're comparing it with this, it's 46%. This is yet to do that. If it will do it, again, I'm just jumping to one of the possibilities that could play out. And this did it over 2 days. I could potentially keep dipping more. However, I do think with this announcement about the 10x crystal and getting one raffle ticket, this will probably help keep the price of crystal at least above this. The other potential is that it continues to dip more. And the reason behind that would be people are cashing out into USDC, but also due to the liquidity pools, like pushing out or like emitting so much crystal tokens right now, like, and bringing it to the market. You know, you kind of have one of those situations, like for instance, this one's 12.8 crystal a second. You know, that's really a lot, you know. And I'll get into this in a bit, but I just kind of wanted to show you. And this is still 3,000%. So this is not a bad opportunity if you are pretty well invested in this project and don't mind having locked tokens. But I just wanted to make you guys aware that there could be potentially some more dipping here still. But me personally, it could either continue dipping due to the emissions rate currently, which is decreasing as more and more epochs happen. So the other option again too is because of this announcement right here and the snapshot not ending to the 25th, could actually like hold up the price of crystal pretty well. And we might even see it like either stable out or rise up in price a little bit again for those who are looking to get that, you know, $280 worth of crystals or X crystal, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. And then now I'm going to be going into very briefly the mistake I made. So as you can see right here, there's not that much. I mean, to me, this is not that much. There's not that much in my locked rewards on here. And that's because I made a mistake. So I actually ended up doubling up on the Jewel X Jewel LP, and I created a new LP, or I created a new seed essentially. So the LP tokens for this, and I deposited it. Now I didn't really think that this would occur, but when I deposited my new LP tokens, it actually did a withdrawal for my locked rewards at the time. So this is one of my wallets. This is my main wallet, but so essentially that's $400. There's 14.32 crystal tokens that I'm pretty freaking pissed. It was actually, you know, anyways, that got removed from this. So now even if I wait for the epochs to go and it unlocks more and more for me to like unlocks more and more of my rewards, I won't be able to get that 14 crystal or however much it is, 14, 15 crystal, until I get a Gen 0 hero or a hero in general and start mining for it whenever that comes out. So I'm kind of screwed there, unfortunately. And so I'm just letting you guys know, if you're looking to add more to the LP because, you know, Jewel's dipping in price or whatever, do it on a completely separate wallet. That's what I should have done. That's originally what I was going to do. But I decided, hey, I just wanted to consolidate everything into one. Don't make the mistake I did. And if you aren't invested into the LP yet, then this doesn't apply to you, right? So, but I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. I did enter a very, very tiny, small position for the Crystal AVAX, although I don't think it's worth it for most people. I think I might have mentioned this in a previous video, but pool reward allocation, it's a pretty advanced thing, but it's not, at the same time, it's not. So as you can see, like, if we go, actually, let's go to the website. Let's go to docs. There's something I want to make you guys aware of. So if we go to the gardens and then ice gardens. So you can see this emissions rate started at 16 crystal seconds, and that's going to, and that is actually what it currently is. And that's going to change to 12 on April 6th. So 2 days. So out of that 16, Crystal a second, 7.5% is allocated towards this pool, the Crystal AVAX. 80% is allocated towards this pool, which also has the least amount, has no impermanent loss. And then, 7.5% to the Crystal USDC, 5% to the Crystal and Jewel. I thought this was actually going to be more, but apparently right now that's not the case. So that kind of sucks, but it's actually the one that pays out the least Crystal. So just keep that in mind. But in my opinion, if you were getting into this project, like I'm making use of the fact that I bought some Crystal specifically for this project. So I put that specific amount into here. And I did that pretty recently because I got in kind of late to this, unfortunately. But nonetheless, yeah, this is really the most bang for your buck, the least amount of impermanent loss. This has impermanent loss, obviously, because they run in different price ranges. This for sure is going to have impermanent loss, although this is not that bad of a strategy in my opinion. And these two for sure have impermanent loss as well. So just keep that in mind. And then I think that's it. I don't really have anything else to say in regards to this. Yeah, I mean, just make sure you go to the jeweler. And I just, I only put a small amount of Crystal in here. I just want to do the 10. I don't think I'm going to put any more. And I'm definitely not investing any more money right now into this. I'm just kind of waiting and seeing how things play out. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. It's all I really wanted to talk about. I hope this was super helpful, super valuable. If you have any questions, comment, or concerns, please comment down below. Also, I should have said this probably earlier on in the video, but none of this is financial advice. This is strictly me sharing my opinion on the matter, my take on the matter, my sentiments on this project. I hope it was super helpful. And yeah, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Peace.